Hello friends, we have a new Miss USA, so let's talk about it. My name is Dani Walker. I'm a former Miss Montana USA if you don't already know me and if you're brand new to my channel. If you are new, I hope that you choose to subscribe and hit the notifications bell so you hear all about new episodes just like this. I got lots to say about Miss USA 2020, so let's get right into it. Starting with our show opening. I was wondering how they were gonna do this show opening and get really creative about this because of COVID protocols. So what I think what was happening here is that we would see a group of contestants on stage do a little dance, and then those contestants would exit while they were showing video clips of them. And then we went back to another smaller group of contestants. I think it was a really clever way to adhere to these protocols and make sure that we didn't have all the contestants on stage at once. And so I was like, okay, that was pretty clever. All right, so let's talk about top 16. I love that these announcements were so much faster. They did not feel like they drug on. We saw the girl, we saw a quick clip about her. Thank you. Thank you for finally listening. I think we're getting back on the right track here. For the top 16, I didn't feel like there were any really big surprises with the exception of Massachusetts. Was anyone else shocked that she didn't make it? Girl, what happened in the interview? I swear, she must have literally just been right on that edge because I literally couldn't believe it. My heart hurt when I didn't see her there. That made me sad. Let's talk about their performances. These were my notes. For me, she was a solid pass right to that top 10. I thought that she's really, really beautiful. I'm almost sad though that she competed this early. I was a big fan of her at Miss Teen USA. I thought she'd move on further then, and that if she would have waited a little bit longer, honestly, it's more life experiences, right? It really doesn't hurt. And I see that we are crowning Miss USAs and Miss Universes that are a lot older now, and we've seen that shift, and she was one of those contestants that I was like, oh no, like I just wish she would have waited a little bit longer. Y'all know I've loved her. I didn't think this was the strongest performance out of everyone, but I think that she's done so well already that it's like, does the job, right? Gonna move on. I thought this was pretty good. Honestly, I liked it a lot more than her prelims performance. Louisiana, so stunning. You guys know if you watch my other episodes when I talked about my favorite headshots, how much I'm a fan of her. And when she talked about her skincare routine and doing all that stuff, I was like, okay, I'm listening in because her skin is just glows. Mississippi, so my note for her for swim was actually that I wanted to see more energy. I thought that her walk was a little bit slow, but hey, it got her to a top 10, so it worked. I think that she is such a beautiful contestant, but I just didn't feel like her walk was strong enough. Ohio, oh my goodness, I was so happy to see her hair change. I was like, that is what I wanted to see for prelims, and I'm sad she didn't get to walk in her gown for finals. DC, I thought did pretty well. It wasn't a performance for swim that like blew me out of the water, but I just love her so much, guys, and she is so sweet. I got to hang out with her at Miss Universe before she won DC, and we were just talking about her competing, and I don't know, just talking about like pageant tips and stuff, and she's just so nice. She's so down to earth. Oklahoma, I mean, I knew she would be in that top 5. She's just so stunning. Indiana, she's got so much height. She actually reminded me of Queens back in the 2000s era, like the way that she was playing with the cape, and really just because of her height. I think that title holders back in the day were just so much taller, right? I think there was just more of an emphasis on modeling back then. New York, I just felt like my note for her was that she was overworking the cape for swim. If I was judging, would I still send her through? Yeah, of course. Would I still send her through? Yeah, of course. I felt like she was looking kind of pageanty, like her execution of things. California, such a fan. I love the one piece that she wore. I think that she is just so dang cute, and she also reminded me of like a 70s movie star with her styling, and yeah, I think that she improved from prelims to finals. Illinois surprised me in the top 16. I just didn't guess that she would place there, and I felt like her walk, like her arms and her legs were a little bit mismatched, like they weren't coordinated with one another, if that sort of makes sense. Nevada, I think that the walk needed to be a little bit stronger for finals. I love Victoria though. You could tell how much fun she was having on that stage, so I'm still proud of her. Hawaii's walk was sort of in the middle for me. I didn't feel really one way or the other about it, but I think that she does well. One thing I was waiting for the finals was close-ups of the contestant's face. We got to see those during prelims, but we didn't really get to see that for the telecast, and I'm wondering if the judges still got to see that. I would assume that they might. Shout out to Miss Allie LaForce, by the way. Oh my goodness, that voluminous hair that she had with that gold gown she was wearing, I was all about it. For gown, I was really bummed for the girls that they couldn't have a live performer. I was just thinking, couldn't we have just put a performer in the very back of the stage with, I don't know, partitions for COVID or something? Why couldn't we make that a thing? Mississippi to me for gown has just one of the most beautiful faces. That's really how I felt about her for prelims. I was like, oh my gosh, this girl's face on stage is so stunning. She's gonna stun, guys, at Miss Universe. So super excited about that, but let's keep going, hold on. Illinois, I felt like there was a lot of tension in the shoulders for gown, and I just wanted to see her relax some more. I didn't like the gown, but I really liked her performance. I still felt her confidence. Oklahoma to me was elegant. She was really an easy pass for a top 5. We saw a teen contestant wear this same dress this year, but in orange, so I wasn't a huge fan of it. And I just didn't feel like the handling of it was as elegant as it could be on stage. California glowed to me on stage. I absolutely loved her. Indiana, I think this is a really smart look for her. I think that pulling her hair back with this gown looked really beautiful on stage, and I think that it's just hard to ignore her. She's just so tall and statuesque. You just look at her, and I think she did a great job during finals for gown. I felt like her performance for finals was okay. It definitely moved her onto a top 5, but it wasn't something that I was blown away with. And if you guys really paid attention and watched, I felt like her pose was a little bit reminiscent of Catriona. And then the hand thing, you know, like you can't really see it, but like the hand thing that everybody does that I'm not really a fan of, she added that towards the end, and I was like, why? Like, ladies, be yourself, do your own thing. New York to me was simply flawless. I preferred this performance to her prelim performance. When I saw this, I was like, oh, there it is, top 5. That's literally what I thought. New Jersey did very well. For me, this was middle of the road, nothing wrong with it, but nothing that really helped her to stand out. Also, I didn't feel like we got really creative with the finale. I felt like it was the exact same thing that we saw at Miss Teen USA, so I would like to have seen some changing differences just to make the show a little bit different. Each of the contestants were asked a question from a judge. Oklahoma, I thought that she actually spoke pretty well. I thought that in her videos that she was sounding a little bit more rehearsed, and she seemed to be a lot more comfortable on stage and a lot more natural. Mississippi, oh my goodness, just her, I love her voice. I was like, oh my gosh, her voice is so cute. It's beautiful. At the end, when she answered, she made a statement and says, we're gonna have to set a better example. And I just thought that that was this key phrase that was really strong and really powerful. And I think that her delivery of the answer was really, really strong here. And honestly, when I judge, if you ever see me on that judging table, that's really what I care about. I want a contestant who is going to deliver something naturally. I don't want her to sound like she's reading off of a cue card. I don't want her to be rehearsed. I want her to speak with confidence. I want her to clearly communicate her own answer, whatever it is. I can't speak for all judges, ladies, but I'll tell you this, I don't care what your answer is for things, but I do care that you know how to articulate your thoughts and how you deliver it. And that's really what I'm looking for in a title holder. So there you go, a little behind the scenes, right? Indiana's first question, I thought that she spoke really fast and her hand movements started to really distract me, and I can totally relate to that. Those were notes that I got from judges in the past before winning Montana, so that's one thing to look out for, ladies. Idaho, I thought that she had the first really challenging question. I was surprised by the other questions that were asked, but I was so proud of Kim for staying on topic because I feel like she really improved from how she did at her state pageant, where I felt like the answers started to become a little repetitive or ramble on. So I loved to see that progress. I wish that she wouldn't have been so serious on stage though. I felt like that is one thing that could have improved or maybe changed an outcome. Alabama, I felt like she spoke really well. I feel like her answer was really solid. She surprised me, and so did Indiana, being in the top 5, but you know, it's 2020, so lots of things are happening this year. Obviously, I didn't call them to be there, and I didn't even call Mississippi to be in a top 5. I featured her in some of my episodes. I think that she is so stunning. I'm super excited for her, but it was so interesting that we didn't see New York in a top 5. I feel like most of us, right, that follow, were expecting it. Did you expect it? Comment yes down below if you really thought. I think she did a great job too during gown. I was like, oh, of course, put her in the top 5. After all of their answers, I didn't feel like there was a very clear winner, so I was very thankful to hear them all answer another question. For Oklahoma, I felt like it took her too long to get to her point, and because of that, she never got to her point. She didn't really answer this question, so that made me very sad, and I'm sure that that's something that she's probably thinking about tonight, unfortunately. Girl, I have been there. I'm gonna get back to our queen in just a moment. We're gonna talk about the other ones first. So Indiana, hers was about climate change, and I was like, what just happened? I felt like she had such a strong start, but I really don't know what happened. She kind of like stumbled or laughed in the middle and then reverted to, and that's what I would do as Miss Indiana USA, and then she realized, wait, I shouldn't have said that. I should have said as Miss USA, and she really just backtracked, and I was just crushed. I was like, oh my goodness, that's not something that I want to see happen to any contestant on stage or wish for them. Idaho, she was asked about mental health reform, and her answer to me was cut shorter than I thought that it would be. I thought that it was the perfect question for her because she works in the health field. So, I mean, I think Kim did a really great job with that one. Alabama got asked about prison reform, and once again, I think that she had a really great solid answer, but I also feel like her answer was cut short a little bit. Maybe she was thinking about that 30-second time limit. Friends, if you're watching on a mobile device, please screenshot this episode, post it on Instagram to a story, then tag and hashtag it at Dani Walker. I want to hear from you. I want to know what you thought about the show. And also, while you're there, please give me a follow on social media as well. I love connecting with you there. Miss Mississippi USA was asked something that is potentially controversial, and her keyword, phrase, however you want to put it, was gun laws. And she really surprised me. She talked about being raised in a house where there were guns and understanding about gun safety. And then she also referenced the importance of the Second Amendment. And I'm going to tell you why this is controversial. And this is really a really interesting result to see this year. I want to share a couple things about the pageant industry in general. Coming to you from a contestant's perspective and a judge's perspective, and more importantly, a coach's perspective, I will tell you this. I work with young women of all different backgrounds. I can't even tell you or explain to you right now how diverse that they are. I've literally worked with hundreds of young women. They all have very different beliefs and values. But here's the thing, in pageantry, as of late, within the past decade, people don't like to say it out loud, but it's actually considered more controversial to say something from a more conservative standpoint than a progressive point of view. I hate that personally. When I judge contestants, as I mentioned, I believe they should be able to share whatever it is that they want. I care more about them having the qualities of a title holder and how they're gonna speak on stage. That's more important to me. But there is something within pageantry where contestants who have a more conservative point of view are afraid to share their views because they feel that the pageant organization or the judges of the pageant lean left and would dock them points for a conservative point of view. And that makes me really, really sad to hear that ever. That's not how I've ever judged a competition. I definitely don't judge based off of anybody's beliefs or values. And I can't actually say that I've been on a panel where judges voiced that they were selecting contestants based off of their beliefs or values, but it definitely is this fear that a lot of contestants have. So I think it was a really, really big deal tonight, and it says a lot to contestants today who feel silenced in the pageant industry because of their views. And I just think it was really, really interesting to see, and I think and I hope that it might give some young women out there watching some courage to be able to share their point of view and not feel like it's gonna bite them in the butt and it will be something that would prevent them from taking home a title, because I really don't think it should. We see so many different contestants, guys, that come from all over the world, and they have so many beautiful and wonderful and unique things about them. And I think that their belief on a controversial stance shouldn't stop them from winning a title. I care a lot more that she's a great representative, that she is someone who is inspiring and confident. So I'm just telling you guys out there, like, I don't think this should be something that is controversial, but I will tell you, I do get a lot of questions from my contestants who swing to either side of the political, religious, or value spectrum, because I work with contestants at both ends, and I'll tell you, both are afraid of sharing their real views and what they really think. But I do see a lot more concern and fear coming from my contestants who have more conservative values. And that is something that I see and I deal with behind the scenes. And I actually just dealt with this recently, and I really encouraged the contestant that I was working with to stand up for what she personally believed in. I just don't think that these titles are gonna hold much value if you have to sacrifice who you are for them, right? So I think it was a really interesting win. I think that it's gonna be very encouraging for a lot of young women out there who are watching it. I think it's a really big deal. And the other thing that I just totally even forgot to mention that some of you have asked me about is race and color in pageantry, right? Like, it's always in the news. And somebody asked me, do you think another black contestant can win Miss USA? And I said, look at our last several years of Miss USA. 3 of our 4 Miss USAs were women of color. And I said, I feel like that should speak to other young women of color. And I actually was really excited for Mississippi this year because of it, because I think it sends this message to other young women out there. The color of your skin isn't the reason why you win. It shouldn't be the reason that you win. It's your qualifications. And I think that Mississippi did an excellent job tonight, and I hope it encourages other young women out there to go and compete for their dream titles regardless of the color of their skin. When I judge, that's not something that ever concerns me. I'm looking for the best representative. So ladies, when you see me at your pageant, please bring your best to the stage. I'm looking for a great representative. And I just think that her win is something that people are still going to talk about. And but I think that, and I hope that it's going to be in a good and constructive way. So I really hope that you guys are going to really think about the comments that you're going to leave on this episode today. I hope that you're going to be very encouraging and positive to all the contestants, and consider that what you share online, it does really matter. And take a pause and ask yourself, would I walk up to the contestant and say these thoughts to them? Would I just like pull them aside off the street and tell them the things that I would type about them? So consider that, friends. All right, so congratulations to our new Miss USA and our new Miss Teen USA. I wish them the best this year. I cannot wait to follow their reigns. And thank you guys so much for watching this episode. I appreciate it. I hope that you're tuned in for lots more, and that you are subscribed, and also that you're gonna take advantage of my pageant prep course. I always talk about that, guys. I can't share enough about it, just because I love sharing extra information that can't really fit into one episode with you through that. So please take advantage of that, guys. Love you so much. Don't forget to love one another. I hope you all have a great day and you enjoy, or a great evening, and that you enjoyed Miss USA 2020.